let me move forward. I'll be giving you and sharing you my knowledge on criteria 6, that is governance, leadership, and management, which is a very, very important criteria. Though it carries 100 marks, if you see throughout university or autonomous college or affiliated college, we can see it is 100 marks. But without the plan or direction, nothing can move forward in any education institution. As we can see, the quote, without a plan, even the most brilliant business can get lost. You need to have goals, you need to create milestones, and have a strategy in place to set yourself up for success. Now, this is what the total criteria is based on this. How are we going to prepare a proper strategic plan and then deploy it? So, good evening, all participants for the day. I'm very happy to share my knowledge with you. As we all know, that each college education institution want to get the highest grade, and we also know the grading how it is. Now we as education institution, as faculty, we are trying to see how best to get grade up to 4.0. So with this, let me give you a overview of criteria 6. That is, we have 6 key indicators, 5 key indicators. And if you see these 5 key indicators, so the first key indicator is about institutional vision and leadership. The second one gives you about strategy development and deployment. The third one gives you about faculty empowerment strategies. The fourth one is about financial management and resource mobilization. And the fifth one is the internal quality assurance system. Now, if you see, I'll be explaining from both the affiliated college and then from autonomous college point of view. More or less, all the key indicators and the submetrics are seen. Very few changes are there when we compare from affiliated to autonomous college. Now, this is based upon the recent SSR, that is revised accreditation framework. Based on that, this PowerPoint presentation is. Right now, let me go in detail about each of these key indicators. Before that, I would like to tell you, now, how are the quantitative metrics and how are the qualitative metrics across the 5 metrics, that key indicators that we have. Now, if you see in 6.1, where we see the affiliated college as well as the autonomous college, we have one metric, and then each is of 15 points. And then if you see 6.2, the second one, if you see the affiliated colleges, we have one quantitative and then we have one qualitative. That is, we have 2 submetrics in that. And if you see from autonomous college point of view, we have one quantitative and then one qualitative. So both autonomous and affiliated colleges, we have equal metrics. But the points, yes, there's a difference in the points, right? And now if you see 6.3, we have for affiliated colleges 2 quantitative metrics and then one qualitative. Similarly, for autonomous colleges also, we have 2 quantitative and one qualitative metrics. And coming to 6.4, we have one quantitative for autonomous college and then 2 qualitative for autonomous college. Whereas in affiliated colleges, there is only one metric which is of qualitative in nature. Now, coming to the last key indicator, which is 6.5, we have one for affiliated college and one for quantitative and then one qualitative for affiliated colleges, right? Whereas in autonomous colleges, we have one quantitative and then we have 2 qualitative metrics. Now, let me now go forward in details. So total, if you see, in affiliated colleges, quantitative metrics are 46 points and then qualitative is 54. Whereas in autonomous college, it is 44 for quantitative, whereas 56 for qualitative. So more, we can see that for qualitative metrics, we have more points in governance and leadership and management for both affiliated or autonomous college. Now, with this introduction, let me go in detail about each of these indicators, key indicators. Now, if you see the first one, which talks about the institutional vision and leadership, which carries 15 marks for both.
Ma'am? Ma'am, you are not audible, ma'am.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Now?
Yes,
Hello?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Hello?
Ma'am, can you hear me, ma'am? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Now we can hear you, ma'am.
Now?
Ma'am, you're audible, ma'am.
Ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, you're
Yeah,
audible.
I'm audible. Yes, yes, yes. Right. So, if you see 6.1.1, we are speaking about the institutional governance and leadership, which is in accordance with vision and mission of the institution. For this question, what we need to focus on, whether we have a vision, you need to write vision and mission of the organization. We also, if you have a quality some of the colleges have quality policy too, right? So if we have the quality policy, we need to project it in this particular metric. And first we need to understand before we go to the no writing the about the metric, what is decentralization and what is participative management. Now, when you talk about decentralization, as you can see in any college, how we are trying to give autonomy, that is freedom and authority to the lower level people, right? So that is authority and autonomy to various functionaries. Participative is how are you involving the staff, the teacher, the students, yes, and the management, how all are involved together in order to see that how the plan, that a strategic plan is being no percolated throughout that, and all are, when all people are involved, naturally the output also will be good. So we need to see that how the delegation of authority is there to departments, to any other committees, cells, units that are there. How are we going to give that? So this is what we need to see that. Now, how are we going to go about doing it? Now, for this, we need to have proper coordination among the principal, the vice principals, the HODs, the coordinators of various committees. They all need to coordinate well. They need to meet regularly. They need to see that how they have to put the plan into action. So the documents that we need to present under this particular metric is the vision and mission. If you want to visit after 10 years, you feel that the vision and mission is not as per the current need, you need to brainstorm and then record how are you going to change that vision and mission. Those things also have to be recorded. And you need to provide a space in the college website where you need to give a link, right? That the vision and mission is this. And even if possible on the letterheads, you can have a vision statement. And when you communicate to outside world also in the magazines or in the letters, or when you send letters to alumni, right? You can put the vision in the college so that you're communicating the vision to the stakeholders. You can show that. And this vision and mission throughout the perspective plan that we prepare for 5 years, this should be reflected in all the activities that we do, right? So these documents, how the participation of teachers are there, students are there in the minutes of meeting, all these things have to be reflected in the minutes, right? So when you're talking about implementation, the HODs, the coordinators of various committees, and then how are they taking the responsibilities, we need to think of. Like, for example, suppose you want to show how the culture of participative management is there. So some of the colleges may have the center, the college development committee, right? First, it is a higher most apex body. It takes decisions related to academics or administration. So you can have an apex body where a discussion happens, and then you're going to take important decisions related to budget. It can be related to the upgradation of infrastructure. It can be all these things at that level, right? Now, second level is IQAC level. Sometimes some of the colleges may not have CDC. Then you can go at IQAC level, and then higher authority is the governing academic council and governing body. So you can have at IQAC level, then you can have a discussion. At HOD levels, you can have a discussion where what the HODs have to do, how are they implementing the academic activities like workload, timetable. You need to show all these things, how a discussion happens and how it has been recorded, all the minutes, how it has been recorded. These things you need to have a documentation. Then coming to the committees also, how these coordinators plan and execute the activities. At non-teaching level, how these people, they can, when they meet, how are they giving certain solutions for administrative issues. Like, when you want to resolve certain administrative, like, suppose, for example, there's an issue in absenteeism of the staff. Now, this issue, why there's an absenteeism, and then suppose there's a financial constraint, and then how are you going to resolve? So suppose there's a death happens in the non-teaching staff, how are you going to support them? What solutions you can get by discussing and then coming out with proper plans and policies. You need to show at that level. And student levels, we know they can be student clubs, council, various committees where students are involved. For it can be NSS or it can be NCC. So this participation at various levels, you can see, like students level, non-teaching staff level, staff, that is coordinators level, HOD level, IQAC level, CDC level. Now, this you can reflect in your documents, telling that this is how the participation of the stakeholders are there in the organization. So you can give like a case study, and then you can show, for example, you are coming out in the changes in the curriculum. How are you coming out in the curriculum? How are you involving the students, alumni, industry people? You can show these steps. How are you taking feedback? How are you incorporating? By taking all of them into where you are involving all of them and taking their suggestions and incorporating for changes in the curriculum. Like a case study you can show. And then you can, where they tell you to upload the documents, you can upload these as a case study and show how the participative management exists in the college level, right? Now, coming to the second one, we have first one, 6.1, we have finished this. Now coming to the 6.2, where we speak about strategic development and deployment. 12 points for affiliated colleges and 10 points for autonomous colleges. Here you have two metrics, that is, one is qualitative and another one is quantitative. Let us see the first one, which is qualitative metrics, right? Now, for both affiliated and autonomous, the question is same, but there's a difference in the marks. Now, the first question, which is qualitative metrics, it speaks about institutional perspective plan is effectively deployed and functioning of the institution bodies are effective and efficient as visible in policies, in administrative setup, in appointment, in service rule, procedures, right? They can be like a grievance redressal committee. How are you functioning? So first, for this, you need to be very clear about the institutional perspective plan, which is for 5 years. And how are you putting into action? Now, let us see what exactly we can think of under this particular metric. Now, first, we need to understand what is the strategic deployment or strategic plan and how are you deploying. First, you need to know how to plan, come out with a strategic plan, a 5-year plan, right? Now, this plan should be flexible in order to incorporate whatever changes are happening. You cannot tell that, no, 5 years, I can be rigid, whatever. You cannot be rigid. So whatever the objectives that you formulate based upon the plan should be very specific, very measurable. They should be achievable, they should be realistic, and they should be time-bound. In that way, the objectives need to be planned. Now, once, why we go for this? When you talk about a strategic plan or a perspective plan, why do you need this plan for any college or any education institution? Because we need to ensure there's an accountability, because wherever authority is there, one need to have also accountability. Now, each and every person who is there in the college or an education institution, they are accountable to whatever the goals and targets have been given, whether it is teaching or whether it is not teaching. So one need to have clarity what exactly they need to do in a particular academic year. And we need to see that how to incorporate the expectations from students, expectations from parents, expectations from, yes, those people who try to get in touch, like industry people, because they are the recruiters, and then they expect certain certain knowledge and skill levels in the students. So what are their aspirations? Then this perspective plan helps us to contribute to the organizational growth. And then if you want to compete in this global world, one need to see that how we can impart global competence among the employees or among the students, right? And how are we going to use whatever the existing resources are there? If you have a plan, if you have a goal, if you have a target, we'll know how to utilize them. And ultimately, any college, yes, we want to see that how to make a students ready for any job. Now, when you are having a strategic plan, you need to take into account all these things, right? Now, the documents that you attach to this particular metric is you need to prepare and communicate the perspective plan for that particular assessment period, that 5-year period. Then suppose you're preparing any new program, then how are you going about preparing the new plan? It can be a part of your strategic plan. Then what are the teaching learning resources that you're enhancing so that the faculty can use them while they are teaching, right? So you can be clear about the responsibilities, what they're given, like, this is an organogram for some of example I've taken for 1 or 2 colleges. So, but it depends upon you. What is your organogram? Like, who are the people who are having what role and what is the responsibility? You need to have a manual anytime anybody asks that this is the role of a principal, this is the role of HOD, this is the role of additional HOD, this is the role of a dean. Now that clarity should be there. And who has to report to whom and how it is. So you need to prepare an organogram which clearly tells you, if any of them will see the organogram, they will know that who are the people and what are the hierarchy levels that we are having, right? Now, in the strategic plan, you need to incorporate like new academic programs. It can be, how are you enhancing your infrastructure? How are you enhancing your learning resources? How are you automating your library? Is that you're planning for an incubation center? Then are you planning for any MOUs with any industry? You can incorporate those things in the strategic plan. And are you going to develop, how are you going to develop this eco-friendly campus zero waste model? You can come out with that. So that can be part of your strategic plan. These are some of the examples which I've given you where it can be part of your strategic plan. And then these things, whatever the plan that you are going to formulate for your college, the IQAC and the principal and then the other HODs, they sit and then they come out with this plan. This can have to be approved in the governing body. Right now, this if you have a college development committee, you place it in the college development committee before you place it in the governing body. So you need to get it approved before you implement it. So how are you going to deploy this? Right. So one part is, how are you preparing this plan? How are you going to come to conclusion for a perspective plan for your college? The second is, how are you going to implement it? Right. Now, remember that when you're preparing this perspective plan, you also need to take the recommendation that the NAAC people, when they visited earlier to your college, if it is a first visit, okay, you are going to come out with a plan. But if it is a second or a third cycle or a fourth cycle, you need to pick up the points what NAAC people have recommended in their peer team report. Now, from there, you can, they should be a part of your strategic plan because they have given certain recommendation, they have given certain suggestions, and you need to incorporate it into your plan so that you're going to achieve in the next coming 5 years, right? So management has to review these plans at a regular interval and see that if anything can be modified, and then that has to be taken forward, right? So IPSC prepares the action plan, coordinates and monitors that whatever plan that is being prepared, is it deployed or not? Is it implemented or not? Because if we don't implement, we cannot achieve those things which we have seen for 5 years, right? For this, HODs, coordinators, faculty, non-teaching staff, all have to be part of the implementation. If they are aware of this plan only, they will know how to go about implementing it. So that awareness to be created. Now, the institution under this metric, apart from the perspective plan, and then how are they deploying this plan, they also need to upload the rules, the procedures, the policies in the website. And then these policies, whatever we do, it should be related under this particular metric. How are you recruiting the faculty? What are the service rules that you have for your college? And what are the promotion policies that you have? These things need to be uploaded in the college website. Now, apart from that, suppose you have very important thing which they, when the NAAC people also come, they ask about the grievance redressal mechanism. Now, for example, this is one of the college which I have taken. Now, how does they follow the methodology that they follow to redress the grievances? So first, their cell receive the grievances and they have a committee to discuss, and this, if it is related to sexual harassment, then it is sent to the other committee where anti-sexual harassment cell will be there, and the committee analyzes the problem and tries to bring out a solution, and if necessary, if anything is there, they try to take a legal advice also in order to bring out a solution for it. And this report is sent to the top management after every 6 months. This is what is one of the college, the methodology that they are following. Similarly, in your college, how are you going to address this grievance? Like some of the college have suggestion boxes and grievances boxes that are there at every floor. And then every week, once the principal sees that, he opens personally the boxes, or he sends his person who is there in charge to see that what grievances the students have given directly to him. And then have a grievance committee and redress that. So every college have the procedures that need to be documented properly, right? So in that way, that metric need to be answered. Now coming to the next one, which is the quantitative metrics under 6.2. Institution implements e-governance in its operations. Now, first of all, why do we require e-governance, right? First, we need to think of that. And then where all it can be implemented and how it can be implemented. Now, NAAC has given four areas where it can be implemented. So when it is telling it should be implemented in these 4 areas, now, what is that they are expecting under this? Now, whatever you prepare the e-governance report, that you are having this in these areas, that should be approved by the governing body or governing council or board of management or any policy making body that you have. It should be yes, approved by them. Now, whether you have these or not, under this particular metric, you need to upload the each module screenshots and how it is being implemented, and then what is that expenditure that you have incurred by using this e-governance model or a software. What is that expenditure that you have incurred? And this expenditure should be clearly reflected in the audit statement too, under certain subhead, where you're spending some amount in the e-governance implementation or an ERP document, right? So e-governance, why do we require? Because it enhances the efficiency naturally. So when everything is very clear, when everything is moving efficiently, there's no loss of time, no wastage of time, and everything works very, day-to-day operations also becomes very easy. And transparency will be there. Anytime, any decision the management can take using this particular e-governance, we'll be able to take that. There will be reduction of the cost, growth of the revenue, and it is very easy for the stakeholders also to have a platform where it can easily communicate, right? In that way, the e-governance will be useful. Now, let us see the various 4 areas which the bank has specified. Now, when we talk about administration, having e-governance in administration, what is that you're expecting? Now, the NAAC is expecting that you need to maintain a database of teachers, staff, and students. And whenever required, whichever format that you want, we should be able to generate it. Any registration during admission time and everything, registration should be done of the students. And then if you are calling for an admission and then you whom to call, first merit list, second merit, automatically the software should be able to generate that merit list so that it can be posted on the notice board. The collection of fees and everything also should be automatic. So the generating the fee receipt and maintaining the database, attendance reports, then certificates, automatic generation of bona fide certificate, transfer certificate, no objection certificate. So different types of reports related to staff and the students you should be able to generate. That is what is called administration. Suppose the person is leaving the organization, or you're recruiting any other person, right? Or the person has gone back and then come in. If you want to know anything related to the teachers, how they have performed, I think everything with the administration, when we make the administration using the technology, we will be able to take decisions when we generate different types of reports. And then talking about the second one, which is called as admission and student support. Now in this, what is that they expect us? When we are taking the students, when you are taking the admission of the students, the admission should be online, then only a student database can be generated. So online admission process, whether you are having any student friendly apps are there, or you're creating a virtual classrooms where you allow the students to discuss and then participate, like, or you have an LMS, that is learning management system, where it supports the students, where it supports the faculty. And then Google Classroom is also one of the thing where we can see that how we can use it, which is free of cost, right? So how are you using the ICT, that is technology, right, in order to take the students, in order to support the students, and then how are you admitting the students? So a ERP package should be in such a way where, if you want attendance, if you want leave, how many leaves a staff has taken, and then if any report that have to be generated regarding the staff attendance or student attendance, or in default a fee defaulter list, your software should be supportive, right? In that way, you need to have software in your education institution. Now, coming to the finance, the third one is the finance and account, and then examination, the other two. Now, when you talk about the finance, how are you maintaining fee record of students? How are you monitoring the fee installments? How are you sending the messages? See, suppose a student did not pay during that particular month, automatically the message has to go to them telling that your fee is due, right? Generation of report, right? Delivery challan reports, right? That the expenses and vouchers that you want. Then income report or expenses report, a balance sheet report, right? So are you having any software related to finance and account? Then coming to examination, now examination application form, hall ticket generation, then marks entry, internal marks entry, external marks entry, the grade report generation, the provisional certificates. So do you have a software to do all these things? No, this is what NAAC is expecting. So whether you have all these things, so if you have all of them, all the four above, then you're going to get full marks, 4 marks, right? So the expectation and what all they're expecting in these areas, I've told you what they're expecting. These are the things that your software need to support, right? Now, the SOP also tells you the same thing. So bills for expenditure of implementation of e-governance, right, should be there. And then you need to see that the institutional expenditure of heads are audited in the audit report. It should be clearly mentioned that we spend so much for e-governance, right? Now, as I already told you, if you have all those things, then you're going to score 4. These are the benchmarks. Now, coming to the third key indicator, which is faculty empowerment strategies. Now, for affiliated is 33 and for autonomous college is 30. You have 1 qualitative and 2 quantitative metrics. Now, let us see these things, how affiliated colleges and then autonomous college, a slight difference is there, that's it. Now, coming to the under this faculty empowerment, the first, which is the qualitative metrics, it is asking whether the institution has performance appraisal system, whether it has effective welfare measures for teaching as well as non-teaching staff, and whether a scope is being provided for career development and progression. So we need to describe this in 500 words, and then how are you deploying it in your organization? You need to give proofs for it, right? Now, for this institutional performance appraisal based system document have to be uploaded, and you also need to write how frequently this appraisal is being taken. So what is that actual form, and as well as the policy that you have, and this policy tells you that which form will be used, what are the criteria that are used, how are you, when are you evaluating, which month are you going to evaluate, and how will they be paid, the increments or incentives. Everything, this policy should have clarity, right? And the actual form also you should upload it. Now, for teaching faculty and non-teaching faculty, as they have asked, you need to have a separate form for evaluating the teaching faculty and evaluating the non-teaching faculty. When you're evaluating the teaching faculty, you need to focus on academics, administrative, research, and extracurricular and co-curricular activities which the faculty is a part as a committee member or a convener. Whatever she has contributed towards it, all those things need to be covered. And this appraisal form, each college has a different system. So whether it has been reviewed by faculty in charge or a principal or HOD, who is going to review? So in the policy itself, you have to mention that this is how will be reviewed by, these are the reviewers and these are the appraisers, and this is how they are going to review. That clarity should be there. And then the non-teaching staff who are there. Now, you need to have their performance appraisal. You need to have the criteria like how professionally they are competent in various, like office administration means what they require, accountant means what they require. Then what is their performance? Did they perform whatever they have to do, the tasks that are given, whatever the responsibility that they're given? Did they fulfill the responsibility? What is the character? What is really outstanding contribution that they have made? These things that you can focus on when you're talking about the appraisal. The second part, what they mentioned is what are the welfare measures in that question. Now, each organization has different welfare measures, like it can be how they're trying to promote self-development. Like, for example, our college encourages the faculty to do NEP courses. Right now, whatever they get the grade, and after that they have got the certificate, they can redeem whatever money they have spent on that 1,000 or 1,100. They can. So it helps them not only for the self development by supporting them financially and encouraging them, motivating by giving some extra increment for it. Right, group insurance, it can be different types of. But when you're mentioning these welfare measures, right, you need to have a proof in your financial statement that, and also you need to have a record who are given this group insurance, right? And then we have earned leaves, sick leaves. Now, how many leaves in your leave policy, in your service rules and everything, you need to clearly mention the leaves that are given. For a newcomer, how many leaves? For a person who's 3 years, how many leaves are there? So, and then whether they are earned leaves or whether they are sick leaves, clarity should be how many we are going to give. The clarity you need to give. Fees is installment for the wards of the staff. Provident fund, if they have any facility, what is that? Loan facility, if they give, are they attached to any bank, or does the college itself give some loan facility for people who need? Health center, nearby hospital tie-up so that the expenses can be reduced. College uniform, transport facilities, canteen facilities. No, these are the some of the welfare measures which I mentioned, right? So every college, according to their what welfare measures they're doing, you need to put it in one place, right? Now, are we, see, one thing is we are trying to give all these things in order to empower the faculty, right? So how are you empowering, right? Not only welfare measures, but also seeing that they growth in their career. Are you deputing them for all orientation programs? If you're deputing them, right, what is the support that you're giving? Are you giving any on duty to them, sanctioning on? Then are you motivating the faculty to take up major and minor research project? If you motivate, how are you motivating them? You can give some relaxation in the workload. Instead of 15 or 18 they're taking, you can give them 12 workload because they need to focus on that, right? So in that way, you can motivate them. So are you training the teachers who require the necessary skills or not? So these are the empowerment strategies that you can go for, a college can go for, and then record them. So then coming to the next submetric, 6.3.2. Percentage of teachers providing with financial support to attend conferences and also for membership fee. Like you can have HMA or you can have any accounting, membership you can take from accounting. So in that way, does the college support them financially? How much percentage of teachers in 5 years did they support? Then remember, don't keep sending the same teacher again and again every year. It will be counted only as one. Now in autonomous college, they expect minimum 2,000 rupees per year per faculty will be considered. Otherwise, it is not called as a financial support. Whereas in your same question, in affiliated college, they expect a minimum of 5,000 rupees per year per faculty. Minimum they expect. Otherwise, it is not called as a financial support at all. Whatever, if it is 1,000 or 2,000 or 2,000 for an affiliated college, it is not called. Minimum 5,000 support they are expecting. right? So for that, for 5 years, one should see that every year few of the faculty and the same faculty don't repeat it, right? And then so that all are covered. So number of percentage of teachers who are given every year 5,000. How many faculty? Like you have to record year, name of the teacher, name of the conference that they attended. If it is a membership fee, you have to tell member and what is the amount paid. So if it is a conference, what is the amount paid? If it is a membership, what is the amount paid? So you need to see that minimum 5,000 rupees is given per year per faculty, right? So this is how they're expecting. They're expecting the policy document. How are you going to give the financial? Whom you're going to give the financial support to the teachers? Which teachers will be eligible, right? And a copy of letter indicating the financial assistance should be attached to it. And the list of teachers who are receiving this financial support year-wise we have to give. And whatever the financial assistance that you're giving to the teachers, everything need to be audited, and then you should show separately what is the for the conferences, what is the financial support they have given, for membership what is the financial support that is being given to the teachers. So this, it should be reflected in audit statement, otherwise it will not have value. So you can see yeah, this already I told. So if you see the SOP also in autonomous colleges, what they're telling is without proof of payment, right? Mere name list will not be considered, and mere cash vouchers for payment will not be considered, right? When you're paying, you need to pay to the respective people wherever they are going, membership directly to that particular membership body, right? They try to see that with the name of the faculty, how are you giving that? So in that way, receipts, vouchers, which are institution in favor of teacher, that is being given will be considered, right? If suppose the data is huge, then when you're not giving all the data over there, DBB may ask clarification for any particular teacher. You can ask everything for that particular teacher. You should be ready to show, but everything need to be audited, right? Now, in the affiliated colleges also, they mentioned that the teachers should not be attending seminars or invited talks cannot be included in this metric. So when you attend conference, workshop, they have to attend, not invited talks or seminars, right? And then clearly the participation certificate and the attendance that they have attended the program, those things the DB partner may ask, we should be able to show. Now coming to the third one, which is the quantitative metrics, where autonomous colleges have 10 marks, right? Now in this, what they're asking is, they're asking what is the percentage of teachers undergoing online face-to-face faculty development programs or management development program. Now if you see in affiliated colleges, they have given here even the non-teaching. Here in this, they asked, in autonomous college, they only asked about the teachers here, right? But if you see in this metric, when I've gone to here they asked about the non-teaching staff, whether any administrative training programs are conducted for them, right? How much percentage of teachers they have undergone. And remember, any FTP or training should not be less than 5. Right? And all those refresher programs or faculty orientation program, these should be as per UGC or AICTE stipulated periods as participated by teachers. And then the certificates should be enclosed, and whatever details we are giving here, they also should be reflected in the annual reports of that programs regarding with respect to that of the teachers, right? So this is what they expect. And then this is how you need to give name of the teacher who attended, what is the title of the program, and the duration from when to when. These details we need to enclose, upload it, right? And they mention very clearly that one teacher attending one or more professional development program in a year to be counted only as one. So we have to make it a point. Don't keep sending the same teacher again and again. Better send the other teachers, give opportunities to everyone, because when all these attend, see what they said is in if more than, for 5 years, if more than 50% of the teachers when they attend, right? And then if more than 50% of teachers, if they are given the financial support, you can expect full 4 marks for it, right? So this is what regarding 6.3, the faculty empowerment strategy. So you can see in this SOPs of autonomous college and SOP of affiliated colleges, they clearly mentioned that programs of duration less than 5 will not be considered at all. Attending seminars or invited talks not to be considered. So you have to see they should be of minimum 5 days FTP. Then only they only will be considered over here, right? Now coming to the next one, which is 6.4, financial management and resource mobilization. If you see for affiliated colleges, it is 10 marks. We have qualitative metric, only one qualitative metrics, right? Whereas for autonomous colleges, we have 3 sub-metrics. And these 3 in that 2 are qualitative and 1 is quantitative, which is 5. The same what affiliated colleges having question, it is all mixed up. Autonomous colleges, what all under 3 it has been divided, all of them put together, affiliated college has 1. Now, what did they ask here? This is a qualitative metrics for affiliated college. Institution has strategies for mobilization and optimal utilization of resources and funds from various sources. It can be government, it can be non-government. And then this is apart from what the fees they get. And it conducts, they have clubbed the other question also, it conducts financial audits regularly, internal and external. This is a question for affiliated college. They're expecting to upload the details. Now, what is that they are expecting? In autonomous college, what did they ask for that? Institution strategies for mobilization other than the salary and fees. Here they mention other than the salary and fees. And optimum utilization of the resources. What they expect, one, we need to be very clear about the resource mobilization policy. That policy have to be prepared. How are you going to mobilize? So some of the strategies I mentioned over here, it can be revenue generated through consultancy. You can have a good consultancy like, going and then doing MDP programs for some executives or something. From there, you can generate the revenue by conducting some training programs for industry. Then some industry research projects you can undertake. Some sponsorships, some of them for seminars and national conferences, you receive sponsorships from various government and non-government agencies, right? That sponsorship. Then laboratory facilities, sometimes you provide to them and then they are going to pay to you for whatever you're providing to them, right? So through that also, when you are in the facilities for them, when they are paying you, it is the fund that it is the amount that you're going to get. In that way you can mobilize endowments, mass purchases where you can reduce the cost when you do the mass purchasing. So in that way you can have your own strategies of resource mobilization. Right. Sometimes it so happens that your college is over by 1:30. Then other time you can utilize for evening classes for some other colleges, you can give as rent. Or sometimes other government and everything, they can come for conducting some exams and then give you for amount for using your resources. In that way, what strategies that you will be using in order to mobilize your resources, and that all have to be documented. So documents are designing the policy, mobilization policy, then which areas, and then which what are those concerns and capability you have, you need to identify them. You need to monitor how are you going to deploy this resource mobilization, how are you going to, whatever resources you're going to get, how are you going to monitor them. And then purchase letters, quotations, then account section, maintaining the documentation about how you're getting, where you're getting, and auditing them. That is because in affiliated thing, they also asked about the audit here itself. So internal audit and external audit, how are you going to conduct for the stock register, whatever you receive. So, and then you need to prepare a proper budget before you get it approved in the finance committee also. From different departments, you can get the budget, and then from where you can receive the amount in order to cater for whatever the fund that you, for whatever the expenses that you incur, and how are you going to deploy them. So budget at the starting of the financial year is very, very important by taking it from all the departments, from all the bodies, and then getting it approved in the finance committee. And then from what are the sources you need to record? What are the expected sources of income? From the student fees, it can be from examination department, it can be from sponsorship, it can be from any other source, consultancy. So that you need to know that. For that, you need to create a policy and then get it approved. Then coming to the next one, 6.4.2, first one we spoke about that, how are you preparing the resource mobilization. Now, in this autonomous college, this is there for autonomous college only, because affiliated college we have only one. Now, they're asking the grants that you receive, government and not government, but these, whatever you're going to project here, these things should not be projected in your research and in criteria 5. Other than that, other grants and other funds you will be presenting here, right? So those related to research you'll be presenting in criteria 3. So scholarships or anything that you're receiving, you're going to present under criteria 5. So those apart from that, you're going to present here, right? So here, your whatever the grants that you receive here, what you're documenting, it should be there in the audited statement. Those things you need to take a claim. Apart from, if it is not reflected in audited statement, you cannot present it here, right? So these funds, we should avoid the duplication by not taking whatever the grant that we receive in the criteria 3 as per SOP, right? Now, how is that you're going to present in the template? You're going to present the year, which is the non-government funding agencies and individuals that are going to give. What is the purpose of the grant? Is it for a seminar or a workshop, for construction of something, for what? The funds in lakhs. And how are you linking this audited statement of accounts reflecting the receipts? So these link to the audit statement. If you click that, it should go to the audit statement where it reflects all these things, right? So this is how you have to present for that. So copy of a letter, these are the document audited statements. And remember, funds from your own institution, own trust, sister institution is not to be considered, right? Contribution in any form of equipment and software as per SOP, you cannot count this. Only in terms of funds, in cash only, you can take it into account, right? And then if you see the benchmark, more in 5 years, if you get more than 20 lakhs from government and non-government under this particular metric, you're going to score full 4 marks, right? Now coming to the last qualitative metrics and autonomous college. So where it is asking you, institution regularly conducts internal and external financial audits regularly. This is the qualitative where you need to write in 500 words, how are you doing it, right? For that, how are you having an internal audit system? You need to be very clear. Whom are you appointing as internal auditor? Was the internal auditor appointed by management? What is his qualification? He's an employee of a company. He's what type of audit it is, right? So this clarity, when you're doing internal audit, you need to give these details, and external, when it is conducted, which month, which date it is conducted, how many days it is conducted, internal and external audit, that clarity you need to give. And then appointment of the external audit, you need to have the statutory auditor appointed by the shareholders, and it is an independent person, and preparation of final accounts have to be done clearly. So you need to give clarity about these things in the statement. So internal and external financial audits, common mechanism that you have, and have an internal audit appointed by the institute annually and place it and get it approved in the governing council. External audit should be a CA appointed by senior auditor of a JD Office of Higher Education and Government Auditor General. According to norms, that particular external auditor should be there. And then these things, the extract of this audit report need to be provided in the additional information, right? Now coming to the last key indicator, that is 6.5. Now, internal quality assurance system, affiliated colleges carry 30 marks, autonomous college also carries. But in affiliated colleges, you have only 2 submetrics, that is, one is qualitative and one is quantitative, 15 each. Whereas in autonomous, 10 we have, that is 2 qualitative and 1 quantitative metrics. Now let us see that. What is the difference between them? Now, if you see an affiliated college, they're asking a question, internal quality assurance has contributed significantly. What is that IQAC has done? How does it review its teaching learning process, the structures and methodology of teaching learning? What outcomes are they being periodically monitored? How there's an incremental improvement in over the years, and how it is recording this incremental improvement in various activities. This is a qualitative one which it have to explain. For affiliated college it is 50, and then for autonomous college it is 10. The same question it is. So here they have to show how from first cycle to second cycle and subsequent cycle, how the increment improvements are there. Describe 2 practices. It is telling that describe 2 practices that are institutionalized as a result of IQAC initiatives. And then in the second point, where in autonomous college class, the same, what affiliated colleges do, it has been split into three parts. In affiliated college, it is asking the institution reviews its teaching learning process, structures and methodologies of operations, and learning outcomes at periodic intervals. This is clubbed in the affiliated colleges as one, two together, they clubbed there, right? Now, what are those examples that you can give under this? What initiatives that IQAC had taken? Like, it can tell, like it has implemented a teaching diary. It has ICT enabled classrooms. It has seen to that all the classrooms are ICT enabled. There was a discussion and they implemented. They introduced a new program with the help of initiative IQAC, Wi-Fi enabled campus. They organize various international conference yearly. They had an open canteen. So anything it can be. Any two practices which IQAC has taken up, these are the examples which I given. Right. So they can conduct certain meetings and then coming out with certain outcomes in IQAC meetings, and then the IQAC is reviewing them. In this way, it has shown an improvement in various practices that it has implemented in the organization. So how that you have to record the process in words, in 500 words, you can give them. So here they expect institutional IQAC in HEI, describing the practices that IQAC with reference to quality improvement it has done. So as I've given you enough examples, so it can be skill development course, it can be ICT teaching, it can be collaborative activities, can be alumni involvement in improvement. So anything it can be, you can take an example, two examples and explain, right? But when you are uploading the documents under this, right? So you need to show the IQAC meeting records, the methodology suggested, what is the outcome, what are the trainings that it has done, what is the feedback that there, what is the action taken, right? So IQAC has to record all these things and this meeting minutes have to be uploaded, right? Now, 6.5.2 quality assurance, they tell that affiliated colleges at 15. So under the second point under affiliated colleges, if any of these four or more, if they are going to have, then they're going to get full marks. So what are those four? Regular meeting, you need to show the proof. AAA, that is academic and administrative audits you need to conduct maybe once in a year or twice, 2 years once you can conduct. And then what are the collaborative quality initiatives that you're taking? Are you participating in NIRF or any other quality accreditation that you have, like NAAC, NBA or something, right, apart from that? Now, you need to give a link to minutes in the website, NIRF report, AAA report, and any follow-up action, audit report like ISO, you can give that. And then list of collaborative activities, like for example, this is autonomous college, similar, it is same thing. Here, there they have given 5. And then here they have given 6, right? So here they are asking any 5 or more. In affiliated college, they are asking any 4 or more. That is a different, basic different, but similar to that, right? So here they have given, presented differently, AAA, conferences, quality conducted, collaborative quality initiatives, orientations, participation in NIRF, any other thing, right? So all these details, that is what I mentioned to affiliated colleges, need to be uploaded for autonomous colleges too. So the key indicators are, as I told you, all the 4 or any 4 and above, you're going to get full marks. That is A, if you're going to opt for A, you're going to get full marks. Now, minutes of meeting of IQAC can be presented this way: academic year, day and date, what are the major decisions taken, what is the implementation status of earlier decision, and what is the contribution. So feedback you can take from student, alumni, peers, employee, you can take from them and put it in this tabular form and then show and upload these things, right? Like for example, I want to give collaborative quality initiative like Paramarsh scheme, student exchange, teacher exchange, joint research project with the other institution, sharing the resources, being a member of IQAC cluster, being a member of BOS. These are the examples where you can show as a collaborative quality initiatives, right? And AAA, as we know that as you can conduct, there's some specific format where it takes into account the grievance redressal cell, the complaint cell, whether it is having or not, what are the guidelines and policy that you have for publication, they check that in AAA. Then what is your strategic plan? Your annual reports, what it is projecting, what are the records of feedback from students, what is your budget, how is your office running, from where they're getting the income. So those document audited statement, they would like to see whether it has been audited properly or not. So, and then other things like MOU collaborating agencies, recognitions, awards, then research projects from the external agencies. What are they? They try to see those projects. And then government regulations regarding policies and sanctions. What is that we are incorporating in the institutions? And then these documents in AAA, when they come, external body members can be has members for the AAA. So you can have 3 members in that or 2 members as the internal member in that. But external people should be there when we do AAA. And this, whatever session they are giving, that need to be uploaded in the website. And then post accreditation quality initiatives means after NAAC has given certain recommendations, what is that we are having? Like, vision statement, did we incorporate those things or not? Also, the AAA people, when they come, and also the NAAC people, when they come for the next visit, they see whether they have been incorporated or not, right? So quality assurance initiatives can be what I already discussed with you. And then the documents, the meetings, the activities that are done, the supporting documents of NIRF, ISO, NBA certificate initiative. These documents need to be uploaded, right? So this is about IQAC, the last part, 6.5. And remember that IQAC is a very important cell which takes into account the quality in all the aspects, be it ranking, be it welfare, be it international collaboration, research, career development, all the areas it takes into account. That is the reason it should play a very, very major role and a strategic role in order to improve the quality in the organization. Right, this is all I mentioned. So I would like to conclude telling that governance, leadership, and management, this criteria, it evaluates. You have seen as we have run through the key indicators, vision and the strategy that we are developing and implementing. How are we empowering the faculty? How are we mobilizing and utilizing the resources? And how are we going to assure the internal quality? By having regular internal and financial audits, we will be able to know how the funds are utilized. This is how the total criteria focuses on, right? So these are the references I have used, NAAC references and other PPTs which I have taken the help of that in order to prepare. So thank you all. If any queries or questions that you have, I am ready to ask. So I've done, I've shared my knowledge, and then whatever best I could do, I have done from my side.
Thank you.
Hello, ma'am.
Thank you.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, sir, you can proceed.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you, ma'am. This is Dr. Sarfraz from Sangli, from Dange Medical College.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, ma'am. We have already accredited with B+, and we are going for reaccreditation, and this is our third AQAR, what we have filled up.
Okay.
The thing is, I just want to add that during our first visit, we had given a long-term goal as accreditation for hospital, that is NABH.
Okay.
So, till date today, we haven't gone for such means fluent way to get that accreditation for hospital. And also we had given in middle term goal for NABL also for lab.
Okay.
So I just want to ask that how much of the weightage in getting A plus can this both accreditations add?
See, accreditation, we have given that other accreditation. They have given, yours is an affiliated college or an autonomous college?
It's an accredited college, ma'am.
Right.
Affiliated college to MHS.
So we have seen in affiliated colleges, they're asking any four or above, right? They have given you 4 options, right?
Right.
Whatever applications you're telling will come under other, right?
Okay.
And then see, if you do not have, if you have the other 4 also, what they have mentioned, like whether it is NIRF, what they have mentioned, and any collaborative initiatives, you can focus on those things which you can achieve, you can focus on, so that you can get full points if you achieve those 4.
Okay. Because the same question of accreditation has been asked in part B, that is 8.1.15. That is there any accreditation? We have only ISO and this NAAC accreditation.
It's enough, sir. We can focus on the other things. Even we don't have any other accreditation, you can focus on the 4 things, and then you're going to get full points for that. See, what
Okay.
we can achieve, we have to focus on. And one more thing also, what I suggest, because you have written in your strategic plan, you're telling, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So you can revisit your strategic plan, because they said that it should be flexible according to the changes that are happening, and then
Okay.
present it to the governing body, telling
Okay.
that, okay, you are focusing on the other things, and then you can reframe the strategic plan that you have by putting
Right.
forward the strategic in the governing body.
Right. Because we had added 234 beds extra in a hospital in these 3 years of AQR
You
with
tell
cath
that.
lab. Yeah, with cath lab and dialysis center. That is how we have not gone for NABS till date today.
So you can just formulate, revisit that strategic plan, change it, present it in the governing body, get it approved.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Participants, any other queries? Ma'am, we have a question in the chat box. Shall I read it out, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
In 6.3.3, will non-teaching staff administrative training program should
Yes.
be for 5 days or more? Because
It should
generally
be-
for administrative training, it is only for a day or two.
No, no, no.
Clarify.
We are telling that whether it is an administrating or whether it is an FTP, minimum 5 days should be there. This is what is NAAC is suggesting. And then if you see in affiliated colleges, it is there, but for autonomous college, they have not given in that particular metric. And they have mentioned clearly that minimum 5 days it should be there.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Participants, any other queries? Ma'am, there's another question, ma'am. What
Yes.
about the constituent college? We have to follow affiliated college matrix.
Yeah. Yes, yes. They have to follow affiliated college one only, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Participants, any
Good,
other?
yeah, good evening. It was an excellent talk. You elaborated very beautifully. Ma'am, I have a doubt regarding NARF and NAG. Can you please explain whether they are related or there is a difference in this?
It is different, ma'am. This is a National Institute ranking framework. You have a different parameters for that. NAC is different and NIRF is different. And it is better to go, though you do not get any ranking in NIRF, right? But still, if you go for it, participation itself, they are not asking whether you're getting a rank. So, like, the student outcomes and then research it focuses on, teaching it focuses on. So there are some, like how NAC has 7 parameters, even NIRF is also having certain parameters, and they're very simple. And already all those data will be existing, because if you do for NAC, those NAC data can be used here also. So better participate in it. And you can score good if you participate itself. Yes. What is the role of IQAC director? Somebody has posted in the. Yeah. See, IQAC director has a major role to play in the. Yeah. Is it Mr. Girish? Yeah. Yes, Mr. Girish. So the role of IQAC director is one of the major role in the organization. The college runs IQAC director, right? Then whether it is related to academics or administration, or whether it's related to research, the role of IQAC is there. So you cannot tell that the college cannot run without an IQAC director. Remember. So what is that you're expecting, Mr. Girish? Is that this or any other query you had related to that?
Girish, sir, you can kindly unmute yourself if you have any other queries.
Yeah, thank
Yes,
you. Good evening,
Girish
madam.
sir. Girish sir, the strategic plan is being prepared by IQAC director. So planning till implementation, it is the IQAC is involved. Without a good IQAC director, the college cannot function effectively.
That means his involvement within the day-to-day
Everything.
activities
In
and operation of
everything,
the
IQAC director will
college.
be involved. Any
Means every
yes,
new plan or new studies need to be approved by the
correct,
IQAC director,
100%
right?
right. Any policy, any new procedure, any new process, it has to come to IQAC.
If they say okay, then only it will
Yes,
be
sir.
implemented.
So that system should be.
And IQAC director will see that how it is going to work out in the NAAC.
Yes, because he is the person who will be answerable, sir, finally. Though the principle is there, the figure it is principle,
Okay.
but actually the main person behind that is IQAC director.
Okay. Thank you so much, madam. Your presentation is very nice today.
Thank you, Girish, sir.
If you don't mind, you can share your contact number for future.
What you want me to share, sir?
Your contact number.
Sure, sir, sure. I will share. That's not a problem. I think IoT Academy, ma'am, you can.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
thank you.
Yes.
Ma'am, we have another question.
Yes, ma'am.
Will this FTP considered in NAAC criteria?
Of course, yes. FTP's minimum of 5 days will be considered. Compulsory, minimum 5 days it should be. They are specifying 5 days. We need to have 5 days FTP.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes. Thank you.
Any other queries, participants?
I would like to just tell all of you that IQAC director, IQAC coordinator, if they are going to prepare a proper strategic plan and implement it properly, surely the college is going to get A grade. It all depends upon the way we plan and way we implement, and it lies in the hands of IQAC coordinator, provided IQAC director or coordinator has that autonomy in the college.
Thank you, ma'am. Participants, any other queries? Ma'am, shall we wind up, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. On behalf of IoT Academy, I would like to thank Dr. Anita ma'am for a very informative and interactive talk on this topic. It has been worthwhile for all the participants. Thank you for joining with us today, ma'am. I also thank the participants who have joined here for this session. I request all the participants to kindly submit the feedback form that has been posted in the chat box. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.